It's Thursday, March 8th, 2018, and this is the Scandalous Scandal Recap Air Force 2, Season 7, Episode 13 of our favorite show to break down, recap, analyze, and predict. I'm your host, Larry Brown Jr., joined by my fantastic co-host, the Janai Wright. Janai, good evening. How are you?
Hi, LBJ. I am doing so well. I have to say, LBJ, and it happens every week. Every week, I'm like, ugh. Oh, I have to just get home to watch this show. I'm just so tired. And then 3 minutes in, I'm in love once again. You know, Shonda just knows exactly what to do. It was a good show, LBJ.
It was a terrifically fantastic, good show. And there are some folks in the live chat right now that said that they believe this was a great show as well. They're shouting out to everybody who was watching live.
Yay!
My chat got cut off, but I've got Charlotte McKinney here, Normina's Harmony. Well,
Charlene McKinney,
yes,
LBJ.
Darlene. Starlene is here. Char 90303. Stanley Johnson.
Inkwell.
Inkwell, yes. Uh-huh.
And then Dan Blakemore, one of the original family members, LBJ.
Oh, yes.
Is here. Everyone is excited to talk about the show. Let's get started, LBJ, because we have a lot to do. We know, LBJ, that last week's episode was a crossover episode where Scandal and How to Get Away with Murder crossed over for 2 episodes, an episode of Scandal and an episode of How to Get Away with Murder. And so, LBJ, we lightly touched on the episodes last week so that we would have time to get to it today, LBJ. So we got a lot to do.
Okay, well, how about you close us out from last week's crossover, and I'll pick up in this week's episode.
Ooh.
Go.
LBJ, you have given me exactly the right assignment, and you don't even know why. Because guess what I did today? You don't even know this. He's finding this out the same time as everybody else. I took myself right onto the internet and I read recaps of every episode of How to Get Away with Murder because LBJ, I have not watched it at all this season. LBJ, when I tell you I have not watched a lick of How to Get Away with Murder this season, I mean not even one tablespoon until today. So today I read written recaps of every episode from this season, LBJ. And I watched the How to Get Away with Murder episode from last week. So LBJ, you have given me just the right assignment. So everybody, what I'm going to do really quickly is to just do exactly what LBJ said. And I'm going to bring us right to tonight's episode by talking about the crossover. So let's talk about, now this is not a How to Get Away with Murder recap, but we got to just get a little bit of the context from the show in order to really truly understand everything that went down during the crossover. So LBJ, I took a couple notes. I'm just going to hit a couple of headlines, LBJ. So the first thing you need to know is that How to Get Away with Murder was on episode 13 last week. And since episodes 4 and 5, LBJ, Annalise have been working on this class action suit that we saw at Scandal. So this is something that have been being worked on the entire season, basically. Now, if anyone has any familiarity with How to Get Away with Murder, you know that the characters in that show, well, they have been through the storm, LBJ. And at the beginning of this season, the characters, they were hither and thither. They're broken up. They're not working together anymore. Everybody's working in different places, LBJ. And it was this class action suit that really ended up bringing everybody back together for work purposes. Now, of course, there's some personal shenanigans that keeps the characters linked together. But in terms of actual legal work, it is this class action suit that brings all of the characters back together that have been torn apart by context and shenanigans of the show. So, LBJ, Annalise is collecting clients for this class action suit. At the same time, Bonnie, who used to be her right-hand man and really still is working for the DA. And as Annalise is collecting these clients, Bonnie
it's Women's History Day. She's not her right-hand man. She is her right-hand woman. Continue.
Hashtag thank you. Make it plain. I appreciate that, LBJ. And so Bonnie is working for the DA's office. She's luring the clients away as fast as Annalise can get them. And then the Attorney General is trying to take Annalise down over the course of the season. Annalise had worked really hard to get over some of the personal scandals in her life, had just been reinstated to be able to be an attorney again. She's in some court mandated therapy. LBJ, that she is just personally in pursuit of healing. She's in pursuit of healing, LBJ, and at the same time, she's trying to do something that is meaningful, not for just for herself, but for the world. And so she's working on this class action suit. Now, LBJ, there's something that How to Get Away with Murder fans already know that Scandal fans did not know, unless they are fans of both shows. And it is that the primary client in the class action suit is actually Nate's father, Nate Leahy's father. Now, who is Nate Leahy? I'm glad you asked, because that is Annalise's number one boo on the side, on again, off again, probably the true love of her life at this point, okay, who they just keep falling apart, and then they find their way back to each other. She scorns him, he scorns her, they forgive each other, and once again, they're in cahoots. So it is his father that is the face of this class action suit. He's an incarcerated man that absolutely did not have a good public defender. And we learn by watching How to Get Away with Murder over the seasons that he had actually had in the course of his incarceration something like 18 or 20 public defenders that he had worked with over the time. And all of them have been inept. And maybe they were qualified, but you couldn't tell by the work they were doing because he had not been well advised. And so, LBJ, during the course, and by the way, LBJ, it has to be said that the man who is playing Nate's father is Glenn Thurman. LBJ, he's our favorite. You guys know Glenn Thurman. He's from a different world, okay? He's from all the blaxploitation films. He was in Cooley High, okay? The Wire, okay? We love Glenn Thurman, all right? So Glenn Thurman is playing it just so you can really just start to visualize because he's so good. And so then we are watching Annalise as she takes on this class action suit, and she, again, her team. Yeah, who is it?
Hey, yo, what up? It's your boy, Mr. Cut Up.
Hi, Cut Up. So what can I do for you?
Just want to let you know my homie's name is not Glenn Thurman. It's Glenn Thurman. I'm out. Peace.
Oh, thank you. I'm so happy you stopped by with that clarification. Glenn Thurman, thank you so much. And so Annalise ends up going to, as we all know, and this is actually now the premise for the crossover, LBJ. This is how we get to the premise. Annalise actually, the case keeps getting dashed down, and she literally is doing everything she can to get this case heard and to get some progress on it. And she determines that the only way that she's going to get it actually heard and get some actual progress is for it to go to the Supreme Court. And it is her team that advises her that she needs to go and find Olivia Pope. And so this is now the crossover moment, LBJ. And here's what you need to know. Okay. Annalise is in turmoil personally. Okay. She is being attacked by, the media for her personal past. Okay. And this is before the crossover episode starts. Okay. She is already being personally attacked in an effort to diminish her case's standing. All right. So by the time she gets to Olivia Pope, not only is she just still being beat down because of the personal tragedies in her past, decisions that she's made, some things, decisions she didn't make, stuff that just happened, stuff that just went down. Okay. And on top of all of that, her therapist, LBJ, is having personal tragedies. And of course, if your therapist is going down the tube, you ain't doing too well yourself. And so, LBJ, this is all the context that we see right before last week's episode. Now, let's recall what happened in Scandal last week. We all remember. So what actually happened was Annalise came to DC. She worked with Olivia Pope, and they did it, LBJ. They found a way to get this case heard by the Supreme Court. That is what we talked about on the Scandal recap last week. And then that is where we left it at the end of Scandal last week. Okay. What happened after that? How to Get Away with Murder came on. What happened in that episode? Well, I'm glad you asked. Okay. Olivia is prepping Annalise. Okay. Annalise is, and again, it's Shonda using her platform, LBJ, because Annalise is giving us those statistics. 6.5% of the US population are Black men, but 40% of prisoners are Black men. These are the statistics that Shonda is throwing at us as we're hearing Olivia and Annalise prep for her testimony to the Supreme Court. Now, as they are prepping LBJ, the public is becoming aware of what's going on. So, of course, the haters, they're hating even harder. The supporters, they're coming out the woodworks trying to co-sign. Okay. And then Annalise, she does something, LBJ, that's important. And I want to highlight this. She does something that Olivia would never, ever, ever be able to do, LBJ, in a real way. Annalise goes to her family for support. Now, if you watch How to Get Away with Murder, you know that her having a good relationship with her mother, well, that's been a journey, okay? And they're in a good place, somewhat, okay? And the mother has mental health issues. There's a whole lot of drama there, LBJ. But Annalise turns to her family. She brings her family to her mother, her father, okay? And she brings them close. Now, right before she's about to go out, LBJ, to talk to the Supreme Court, her mother has an episode, okay, a mental health episode, just dementia, settling in, and the mother ends up, spilling some stew or soup or something onto Olivia's jacket. Now, Olivia, listen, she's in the zone. She's in the fixer mode. And so what does she do? LBJ, she says, you know what, I'm going to take care of mom. Annalise, you get out there and talk to the Supreme Court. Annalise does. She goes out. She talks to the Supreme Court, LBJ. She does a very good job. Okay, just to paraphrase it very quickly. And she even, there's a Supreme Court justice that we already know is corrupt. Okay, we know that through the whole episode. Okay, and LBJ, she even manages to turn his own words against him to make her own case, because that's how Annalise rolls. Okay, you do not play with Annalise Keating. And that is what we just were reminded of. So that is what happens with the case. By the end of How to Get Away with Murder, we do not know. The Supreme Court is still making their decision. So we don't know yet what they're going to do. So that's where we end with the case. But there is something very important that happens just before that. And that is Olivia spending time with Annalise Keating's mother. And that's important for tonight's episode of Scandal. LBJ, when Olivia was there trying to handle Annalise's mother so that Annalise could go and do her thing in front of the Supreme Court, Annalise experiences something she has never had, LBJ. And that is a mother that is truly, genuinely trying to nurture her child. Okay. And she has, LBJ, the conversation that you and I always wanted her to have with Marla Gibbs. The whole time we've been in the Scandal recap, all we have wished for her in our Scandal recap community is that she could have a mother figure, a girlfriend, someone who could comfort her. And who was it, LBJ? It was Annalise's mother.
And can we just pause, though? I've been completely silent for like the last 30 minutes while you've been talking. Shout out to Janiyah for talking a full 30 minutes and for the Scandal recap.
Yes.
But I want to say that made me feel like they are watching this show, this Scandal recap, because we've been begging. It started with me. Like, we've been begging over and over and over again for her to have this mentor moment where someone can have this talk, like someone on the sunset, someone about to become an ancestor needs to pour something into her to make her open up her eyes and open up her mind. You got that? You caught you picked up what I was dropping. Thank you.
LBJ, why you gotta say she's about to become an ancestor? That's anyway,
it's the character.
It's the character.
Recap. Go back to 30-minute recap. Go.
I'm done. I'm basically done. The thing I want to say is that by the end of her exchange with Cicely Tyson, Annalise's mother, we see Olivia having a true connection, a true mother-daughter moment Okay. And all of that subtext brings everything I just recapped, brings itself right on into tonight's episode. That's it, LBJ. That's the context that I wanted to share. Now we're all caught up. Take it away.
Listen, if I had the applause button that we once had, I would totally push the applause for a minute straight because you, ma'am, need a grand gulp of water right now, okay? Seriously. So Janiyah brings up a wonderful point to bring us into tonight's episode, but that's not our initial entry point into tonight's episode, Air Force 2. We began in the top of the episode with Cyrus writing jokes for a dinner that is going to take place in Washington, D.C. It's one of these fundraisers where you come together and everybody, crosses the aisle, and we are one. We are United America. And Cyrus is writing jokes, and he's making references to my boo, my girl, Sally Langston, in his monologue. And Cyrus is trying to be memed. He's trying to be all this stuff. And then he's called to the Oval. He gets to the Oval, and they're like, Cyrus, we need you to go to Lisbon to the Digital Hacker Pirate Conference with David Rosen, says presidential, shameful, tragic Melly from last week. This is that Melly talking. And he's like, why? I don't want to go. I'm writing my monologue for the big dinner. And you got to hear what I say about Sally Langston. And Jake is like, no, you have to go. Well, who's going to go do the dinner? Jake's going to do it. Jake Ballard's going to do it. We go through this whole ping pong, Venus and Serena tennis match, and then talk about who's going to go on this trip. Once we figure out who wins Oval Wimbledon with Tragic Melly, we then learn that Cyrus is going to go to Lisbon with much protest, much protest, mind you. He's going to go to Lisbon with David Rosen, and they're going to go, and also this is what happens. So we're cutting in and out of these different moments in the episode. I'm trying to TSA Prius through, and as we're cutting in and out of these moments, we are in QPA. Mm-hmm. Stuff is going on in QPA. Then we also see Olivia. We see Olivia walking down a hallway. Olivia is walking down a hallway holding some bags. We find out, if you look down the hallway, if you peek all the way to the end, you see a guy standing guard outside of a door where you need key fob access and like a fingerprint and an eye scan to get in.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh shoot, that's her mama's apartment. But get this, on top of that, while the episode was coming on with the opening credits, did anyone else peep the guest starring opening credit? It said Candy Alexander. When I saw that, I was like, oh, shoot. Mama's in the episode tonight.
Yes.
And so you can always tell what's going on if they list people's names in the credits. Sometimes when they don't want Mama to be known, they will not put her in the opening credits of the show. I have noticed, and I know you all are watching. Make us a reporter, please, in the press room, please. Can we be a reporter? And I feel like they taped the last episode already tonight. I feel like they've already taped it.
Well, LBJ, it was obvious that tonight there were at least a few characters that you or I could have played very well. Okay.
Listen.
I'm not going to get into them, LBJ, but I think we all know.
Yeah, it's clear. It's clear.
So anyway,
what else was clear were all these little moments that we had taking place, cutting in and out of the lives of folks in the show. Pretty much everybody that is a principal character in the show, with the exception of Rowan Pope. We did not see Rowan Pope at all tonight. We saw all these people.
Or Quinn, just for the record.
No, Quinn was in the episode tonight.
I don't remember Quinn. Okay.
Quinn was like, she was like,
oh, did I block her out? Sorry.
You did. You blocked her out. So we fast forward to
hashtag forgettable. That's all. Anyway, go ahead.
So we fast forward to Cyrus and David Rosen headed to Lisbon with the entire corps of reporters that travel with the vice president on Air Force 2. And then we also see David Rosen come barging in while Cyrus is like do watching the news, and then he's just kind of like eating Haagen-Dazs and just like watching the tide roll by. And the CNN story goes out. The plane jolts, shakes, everything is amuck, and all of a sudden the pilot, the captain comes in and she's like, "Mr. Vice President, I have something to tell you." What? What's going on? What do you mean? We need to clear the room. Why do you need to clear the room? Like, don't clear the room. Say it in front of everybody. Like, we're all here. We're all one. We're one unified America. What's going on? And she was like, we no longer have control of the plane. We no longer have control of the plane. She was like, your teacher says take off your robes. take off your robes. Your teacher says take off your robes.
LBJ, please stop right now. Because LBJ, I thought of that exact
You
scene.
did?
I
Joyful,
swear,
LBJ,
I swear 100% that I thought of that exact same scene from Sister Act. We have such a connection. We're
totally
right here, LBJ. Yeah.
We totally do.
Yes.
So as they're doing that, the woman says, take off your robes. Cyrus is like, what? And David Rose is like, but I like the red, white, and blue M&Ms. Joyful, joyful Lord.
David Rosen is so dumb.
Dumb David. Wah, wah, wah. So we find out that these hackers have control of the plane. All of a sudden, there's no communication to the ground. And so there's this one reporter on the plane who just is taking photographs, and she's sending live photographs to her news outlet. She's got all kinds of access to the plane, and she knows where stuff is, and she knows that there's access, and there's a waypoint. There's a waypoint and an exit point to just leak enough information out to the public. Long story short, y'all, my heart has been racing this entire evening. Because, and I'm going to go there, David Rosen fake hacked the plane, acted as if he was going to use it as a missile to blow up the White House, and called on all these jets to come on to escort them and prepare them to be taken down, only to try to blame it on Jake Ballard. And then he's so low down, and this is when I knew something was fishy, Janiyah.
Yeah.
So that woman was so intentional with taking those photographs, right? And I was like, why is she, mind you, she looks like she could be Viola Davis' little sister, because that girl had all kinds of essence of Viola on her face.
Yes.
So she's on the plane doing her whole cell phone thing. She's like, picture, 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 picture. And then she's making all kind of visual cues. She's giving this man body language. She's like, when Jesus say yes, nobody can say no. And she's like singing to this man and doing all kinds of stuff.
Basically.
And he's like, okay, I'm saying yes, and he says no. Like he's already there. He's communicating with her.
Yes.
And he is as calm as Cyrus Bean can be. Jake Ballard in tonight's episode said to Melly, who thought Jake was the one trying to take the plane down to get rid to take out the trash, which is what she said. And she said to him, she's like, why do you want to take the plane down? He was like, listen, Cyrus Bean has enough heart issues that I could take a B13 injection and put it in his neck, and he'd be gone in 3 seconds. They'd be like, oh yeah, his heart gave out. And when he said that, we've seen Cyrus. Hello, who's at my door?
Hello. I don't know what accent I'm doing, but this is this is fact checker Fiola.
Hello, Fiola.
Hello. Jake Ballard said he could have put 2 drops of poison into Cyrus's water. He did not reference a needle in the neck. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
I didn't know what that was.
Thank you so much, Fiola. So Fiola's right. 2 drops of poison.
That's right.
All this to say, we've seen Cyrus snap under pressure, especially intense pressure like that. And I was like, Cyrus is way too cool. It's Cyrus. And so immediately I texted and I'm like, you know this is Cyrus, right? Then I talked to Candace. I was like, you know this is Cyrus, right? She's like, you think? I'm so confused. I don't know who it is. This and the other. And then we said that his assistant looked like Grace Byers from Empire. She looked like Grace. His assistant looked like Boo Boo Kitty. She looked like Boo Boo Kitty. Okay.
Jay, let's pause there for just a moment, because a few of us, I'll raise my hand, have been skeptical of Hannah. Okay, because it just felt.
No, Hannah is dumb.
Okay, we see now tonight that she's dumb. But I will tell you, I have been suspecting her to be a B613 all the way up until she broke down and cried in that episode because she was being used as a pawn by Cyrus. Okay.
I agree.
But LBJ, I just suspected her, LBJ. Kat Harlem is with you. Kat Harlem is saying that she knew it was Grace from the jump as well. That she knew it was Cyrus from the jump as well. Grace is saying, I knew from the jump. The whole scenario had Cyrus's stink all over. You guys, I don't know how y'all figured this out. LBJ, I'm not kidding you.
If you did not figure this out, you're not a gladiator. You You were not gladiating, Janaya, and I'm going to call you a gladiator. And listen, are you Wakanda forever? Do you want to show them who you are?
Do you not see this good weave? LBJ, yes, I am Wakanda forever.
People like Wakanda.
LBJ, you're supposed to put your arms like this.
I had to do this first. Okay.
Okay.
Here we go. People of Wakanda. People of Wakanda.
It's so good. LBJ, I'm with PG. PG in the chat is saying, how did Cyrus know that he would not be allowed to go to the comedy dinner? And see, LBJ, that's the thing.
No, because Cyrus knows how they think. Remember, Cyrus says that they are all his puppets.
True. That's true.
He is Geppetto and they are Pinocchio.
That's true.
Knows. Remember, he will give you a character analysis. So I was a theater arts acting minor in college, and we had to do. And I'm about to take you there, okay?
Oh my God!
I'll take you there. Anyway, I'm gonna give you the express version.
Please do.
When you are playing a character on stage, your job, your responsibility, your due diligence to that character is to know who they are, because you have to live and do truthfully under imaginary circumstances in order to really be a connected actor. And then there are varying levels there, right? Okay, so keep that in mind.
Oh my gosh, LBJ, look at that tutorial. Oh
come
on,
stand up. People of Wakanda.
LBJ, and let me just say, Dan Blakemore in the chat said, people of Wakanda, I knew it was coming, Larry Brown Jr.
You already listened here. Listen.
Cat Harlem said Wakanda forever.
Wakanda.
We knew it. And we in the chat knew it was coming, LBJ. We love it.
It was obvious. It was, and that's because, and if you knew it was coming,
no, we knew.
Wakanda.
We knew your Wakanda was coming.
You are Wakanda if you knew it was coming. Okay.
Yes.
So listen. So this is what Cyrus Bean does. Cyrus Bean gives you a full character breakdown, a character analysis of every single principle on that show that he has studied, that he has created, that he has brought into this world that Olivia Pope is now trying to penetrate and take down. The world that they kind of co-built, okay? So all of that in mind, he knew how Melly was going to react and how Jake would react. And that's why he made it so that David Rosen had to go on this trip. What the heck is David Rosen going to a digital piracy conference in Lisbon for?
It's a lawyerish
security
event.
Or FBI to go to this conference? Not
it's
the lawyers.
It's a lawyerish event, LBJ. This was all very plausible.
No, the hackers are going to be there. The pirates are going to be there. No.
LBJ, listen, I would have been the dupe. Okay, because Cyrus had me going, LBJ. I swear to you.
I cannot believe you're saying
I know, and that's why I just had to have a moment of transparency with the chat, LBJ, because it is very unlike me to be confused by this. I normally get it.
Wait, what is it tonight? It is what?
It is very unlikely. But LBJ, listen, I got tonight. I was truly like, who could this be? Who is taking control of this plane? I had no guess. And in fact, let me tell you how far off I was, LBJ. I started coming up with scenarios, and these are the scenarios I would have shared in the chat.
Oh, yes. Come on. If we didn't find out who it was tonight, right? You're like, well, I think that it probably is Rowan, because Rowan is into dinosaurs. And dinosaurs can reach up and grab the airplanes out the sky. So why not? I mean, like, I already know.
LBJ, I thought it was Cyrus's ex-boyfriend, the billionaire. I swear, this is what I would have said.
Serious?
LBJ, I had come up with this whole scenario where it was Cyrus's ex-boyfriend, because you have to remember the fundraiser got moved, right? Fundraiser, billionaire, okay. The fundraiser got moved up, and that was the whole reason that Cyrus then had to go to the piracy convention. Obviously, the billionaire boyfriend was somehow behind it. LBJ, I swear, I was so off on this. It's unfortunate. Anyway, LBJ. So Cyrus, eventually, we figure out that's him. And by eventually, I mean me, because obviously everybody else had already figured it out.
But let me say this. Yeah. I'm sorry, I was eating a piece of cookie. Let me say this. We should, even though we knew it was Cyrus, we needed to figure out it was Cyrus, and we did not know. I don't know we're going to figure out it was Cyrus, but a deeper Cyrus so soon. I knew that we'd figure out probably with Olivia, that he was involved in it. But I know we're gonna figure out this episode. But then I was like, I wasn't prepared for him to be a deeper, darker Cyrus up under this one. This is like phase one of a 10-point rollout.
LBJ, wait, first I have to say that I was not alone. Inkwell in the chat says, I got too. I was on the couch like, well, he need to be president if he willing to die like that. LBJ,
I cannot, and that's
I'm
what was
not
so
alone.
Inkwell. That was so obvious. Cyrus was playing to the camera. He memorized that speech.
Yeah.
The Cyrus we know again would have cracked under pressure.
Yeah.
This man did not know. He was prepared.
You're right.
The woman's seat was assigned to be in the back of the cabin so that no one would see that she was recording this thing with this mysterious Wi-Fi connection. That's the only Wi-Fi connection available on the plane.
And Patricia Witherspoon says Cyrus knows Melly very well. He had her number from the start. Grace is reminding us, from once we learned Cyrus had the assassination of Frankie Vargas in motion, nothing, in all caps, nothing is beneath him. He was going to have James, love of his life, shot like a dog in broad daylight. You are so right. Cyrus equals demon. You're hitting the nail on the head, Grace. I don't know why I let him get me tonight, but you are so right. He cannot be trusted. And boy, did he make that plain. So by the end of this storyline, okay, who actually comes to save the day? It is the gladiators, okay. Cyrus, and David, they manipulate a girl in the IT crew on the plane. They get in touch with the gladiators at QPA, and Huck and Charlie are able to hack the plane, get everybody home safely. And it's at the end of the episode when we see Olivia. It takes her 2 seconds. 2 seconds, she puts the whole thing together, and she traipses herself right on over to Cyrus to confront him.
She did. Well, it was so good. But let me say
something right over there.
Before you go beyond the traipsing, I must shout out the gladiators. Was anybody else in your house when the gladiators were like on it? And I was like, yes! Yes! Gladiate! Gladiate! I was yelling like, gladiate! Gladiate! Yeah.
LJ, I actually had a different feeling because I was like, as much as I was enjoying them gladiating, I just had another one of those moments like, this show could go on for all eternity, like Law and Order, if they had a case every episode where we could just see them doing their thing, using their magical printer. Huck is hacking everything.
Yes.
Okay. Quinn is on the stakeout.
Here's a side note I think we should also toss into tonight's conversation. So you said this show can go on forever. This show should have ended another season ago. I mean, a season prior. They asked Bellamy Young in an interview about this being the last season of Scandal. She talked about how grateful she was for this, especially this year of Scandal, because Shonda intended to end the series after the inauguration, the actual inauguration of what was expected to be our first woman president, right? And she planned to end the show. She said, but the world changed, and so she had to give another year to the show.
Thank you, Shonda.
To write a different story.
And see, and this is why she's a genius, LBJ. This is why she's a genius.
You got real poetic with that.
And this is why she is. Well, obviously she is, because the way that she has taken this story to resonate with what we are talking about right now in these very streets, LBJ, it is just amazing. And I just love Shonda for it, because this is exactly what we need on television. As we are in fantasy land, let us also fantasize that justice can be served.
Yes.
Okay, let us also fantasize that. And so Olivia trips herself right on over to Cyrus, LBJ, and she has figured the whole thing out. And she says to Cyrus, I knew it was you, because if somebody was going to hack a presidential plane, it wouldn't have been, Air Force 2. It would have been Air Force 1. So that's how she put the whole thing together. And Cyrus, he never flat out says, yeah, I did it. But he does say, well, I never take a gamble because, I already know all the players. I know what everyone's going to do.
He was like, I never take a gamble. He's always talking like this. His head is always cut to the side. His eyebrows are always arching with a little wrinkle in his head.
Yes.
Talking to you. He's talking to you. He's not moving, but he's talking to you. He's talking to you, and everything he says is just like this. Have you noticed that about Cyrus, people? I'm sorry. Tonight I was like, sir, sit that head up straight.
LBJ, PG says, don't be surprised. Papa Pope could be behind this promoting Cyrus. Remember.
You're right.
Yeah, LBJ.
You're right. And let me also say, Kat Harlan made me interrupt you with my laughter. I should have been on mute laughing at this. Like, I laugh at most of you all's comments on this live chat. And while Jania's talking, like, even earlier, I was back here, like, going off because you know, going crazy from reading you all's comments, like, hey, so-and-so, hey, so-and-so. Anyway, Kat Harlan made me guffaw when she says, to Dan, I want Huck or Charlie to kill Jake. However, I would love it if Vanessa kills him. How ignorant is that? Because nobody still cares about Vanessa. Nobody cares about Vanessa.
No one cares about her at all. They
really man, don't. It's so funny.
And you know what? And they care even less now. Okay, because Cyrus really parlayed this whole thing. He parlayed the heck out of it. Okay, and that's what he basically admitted to at the end. I mean, he now had the whole world see him being very presidential, speaking hope and self-sacrifice for the republic, blah blah blah. And so now Vanessa's more irrelevant than ever because Jake is really losing footing in terms of being a contender. And the other thing that after Olivia confronts Cyrus, he's, really just saying, I'm not going to tell you everything that I'm doing, but please know, I'm not waiting no 7 years and I'm not waiting no 3 years to do a bid for anything. I'm not a patient man. Ha, 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 ha. I'm sipping my tea or whatever he was drinking. And so LBJ, Cyrus is up to no good. Everyone in the chat who called him the devil, you are hitting the nail on the head. And so we need to see how he is planning to execute this plan to not wait until an actual election to take over this presidency, LBJ. So we will see. So that's what will happen with that storyline.
Can we now turn to
this is the
mama and daughter?
Can we please, LBJ?
Woo! I feel Dan Blakemore tweeted and he was like, I bet at Larry Brown Jr. is somewhere getting his life right now. And I tweeted back and I said, Dan, I feel so alive.
Yes, this is all we wanted. That's all we wanted.
Can I tell you, I took no notes. I could really riff on a monologue.
I got him.
Listen, because I lived through those moments
with
mama and baby in that penthouse, and the inflections, the words, the phrases, the thoughts, the lessons,
the hand movements, LBJ. Oh my
God, the wokeness of it all.
Candy Alexander.
It delivered everything we needed, and my only hope. My only hope this whole thing, and I think my hope. I'm hoping my hope is going to spring eternal because I feel like this was the finale, like the curtain call, if you will, for the for the Mama Pope character. I feel like after, and we're going to talk about what she said and what she did.
Yeah, she kind of said goodbye.
How did she prepare this whole thing. But I really, really feel that tonight was, if we're at a Broadway performance, if you ever seen like the movie musical, Chicago, and how each character kind of takes a bow on the screen. Again, this is my theater background coming in, my technically trained theater background.
School us, LBJ. School us.
And the characters appear in order of appearance. I mean, in order of importance. And each character has a moment to kind of come and monologue their curtain call, if you will, based off of tiled cutaways in the credits. And then they take a bow and you move on to the next credit character. And that's what I feel we saw tonight. I feel like tonight we saw, like last season, we saw Lizzie Bear DeGeneres. She did her thing. She had a really powerful, heavy episode. And when she walked in, it was just like, boom, she's gone.
Gone.
And that marked the start of everyone's curtain calls. We don't know if they're going to end gracefully, or they're going to fall into the orchestra pit, into the black abyss, or if they will become a martyr and scandaldom. And tonight I feel like Candy Alexander got the chance to take her bow to all the work that she did for this show.
Yeah.
Hope as she took two curtsies, and then they brought her one row of bouquet roses for the left, one bouquet roses for the right. And she went back to her dressing room, back to her hotel to be carted back home on an airplane tomorrow because she's done with Scandal. And that's how I feel about this whole thing. Now we can break down what they said.
LBJ, but before we do, LBJ, I wish I had a liquid in my hand so I could tip my liquid for Candy Alexander's
Absolutely. Listen, I
character.
got sparkling water. Boop,
Yeah,
boop, 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 boop.
tip that sparkling water. You
Yeah.
know, I wish we had our sound effects, LBJ, because if there's anybody who needs a round of applause, it is this woman. I mean, when you are coming on in these kind of like moments, she enters the show for moments, for a couple of seasons, a couple of episodes here and there, or like this is her. We haven't even seen it. LBJ, when you can come into a show with a cast as strong as the cast of Scandal and steal the episode, you are formidable. Okay? She is formidable. She is amazing, LBJ. The way that no one else could have played this role. No one else. Look, I'm talking about it in past tense. Could have played it. Okay? You're right, LBJ. She said goodbye. Anyway, take us through it, LBJ. Take us through this Olivia and Mama Pope storyline.
Listen, take us back, take us back,
Do
take
it.
us back.
Do it.
We walk in. Okay, so we walk in. My favorite part was the
Mhm.
entrance, right? It wasn't even an entrance, it was an entrance.
Mm.
And they go to make Olivia goes to make the entrance. And she goes to the apartment, she scans their key fob, she lets them read her fingerprint, and she gets the eye scan. She and gets the eye scan. Then and the hackers might have just got my eyeball scan when I did that. So we're not gonna hope it's gonna be the thumbnail for the video.
LBJ,
So Olivia goes in.
got us already. Just so you know. If they wanted us, they'd have got us already.
Listen, I guess we're not wanted. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Olivia goes in carrying all these like Dean and DeLuca bags, or all these like local posh upscale hipster bodega bag. She's got all kinds of pâtés and all kinds of bourguignons, and she's got all kinds of coup de
boeuf. And your favorite wine,
she's got all kinds of
your wine,
all kind of Ostranges and Découplé. And she had cheese souffle. No, she had cheese souffle, and she said and Jubilee. Like, you gotta have the Jubilee.
Of course, I've got the Jubilee.
Can I say I want some Jubilee before this show? I'm going to ask, just like they had those Hillman College shirts made. I'm going to ask somebody to make a wine label that says Jubilee based off of the logo on the bottles of Scandal.
Yes.
You're missing another calling, another stream of income, boo. You tap into the wine industry. Buy a vineyard.
Yes.
Start harvesting some Jubilee for the people. We need it. It's going to be the new Moscato. Yes. It's going to be the new White Zinfandel for
Larry
us.
and I will do the ads, obviously, for
Hello.
it.
We're waiting. We're calling.
Right.
So we go, and Olivia enters, and she tells all the stuff she has. She says, "It's your birthday, Mom. Happy birthday." "Oh, why'd you get me all this stuff?" She said, "Well, I wanted you to imagine that you were away in Paris, which is why I got you all of your favorite Parisian treats like macarons and campongs and king kang rang on. Like, she's going on and on.
Croissants, French fries. That's as far as eclairs.
All of that.
Yeah.
Bonbons.
We are not knowledgeable about French.
Clearly, and I took French, and this is why I didn't and this is why I couldn't make the bakery trip. Right, escargot. This is why I couldn't make the bakery trip, because I couldn't get my desserts right. This is why I couldn't get my desserts right in 4th grade French class. So I couldn't go to my teacher's French bakery. I don't care. I ate a Pop-Tart that morning for breakfast. Okay, I did not care.
A Pop-Tart.
I ate a Pop-Tart.
I can't even do a French accent. I can't even do a French accent.
Les Poutons. Les Poutons.
Right.
So
there she is on Les Poutons. Yes.
She's in the penthouse, and Candy's sitting there. She's looking around. First of all, she walks in like, "Oh, hey, what you doing here?" And then she gave up, "Oh, Livy, why are you here?" And Olivia's real like disheveled, and she's real like, she's just kind of taken aback a bit because she's had this woke moment, and this is what has inspired her, going back to what Janiyah said in her 30-minute recap.
Now we know.
This is what prompted her to go there, because she needed to confirm. She needed that. She had that fix my life moment. And now she needs to go do the work. That's what I hear you, Iyanla. I heard you live in my neighborhood too. I hear you, Iyanla.
LBJ, but it's so interesting because she wasn't there to do the work. She was there to play house. And she admits it later. Her mother calls her out on it. LBJ, she's doing what her father used to do at Sunday dinner. It's just pretend like everything's okay for a little while.
But that's part of the work is actually going down and going to tear down the walls.
Yeah, that's true. She
This
was
is what
there
it
in
is. You
person.
got to see. I've done my work. I know you got to tear walls down. Okay. You gotta go. You gotta climb. I mean, somebody's trying to build walls. You got to tear walls down.
Yeah,
okay?
well, you know that there are no walls in Wakanda. Had to be.
Oh, oh, yeah.
But Mama Pope says, why are you here? She said, is it guilt? You went to court to free all those black people, but here you have your mother locked up here, you know. And again, as she said, locked up, I couldn't help but have both of my eyes roll to the very left, okay? Because I'll take that lockup. I'm looking around my apartment like, well, that lockup don't look so bad to me, LBJ. So anyway, but she's like, you got me sitting here locked up, and you're out there fighting for freedom for others. And so she begins to, LBJ, literally mock the kind of motherhood that Olivia was there pursuing.
Oh, this was so good.
Olivia was there for the kind of love that Annalise Keating's mother was offering her in How to Get Away with Murder last week. And there her mother was saying, oh, you want me to talk to you in a baby voice? Oh, want me to just, really just pity you? Oh, and just give you this kind of comfort? She's like, I didn't raise you to need that kind of comfort and support. You're better than this. And she basically said, Olivia, the woman that I raised will be reveling in the fact that you're these people who have scorned you are being scorned. And so Olivia is there, and she has the revelation, LBJ, that her mother is who she is. And as she's having this revelation, there is a point, and this is where the brilliant writing comes in, LBJ. And this is where they're so brilliant, because not only did Mama Pope say, listen, I didn't raise you to be a person that is weak. She also basically said, I raised you via an alias. And how did she say it, LBJ? She said, you're here to celebrate my birthday. This isn't even really my birthday. She was like, if you had been thinking, you'd know that already. She's condescending. She's saying, if you had been thinking, you'd know that already.
This is not my birthday. She said, so why are you really here, Livy? That's what she said. This is not really.
Yes.
This is not really my birthday.
Right.
So why are you here, Livy?
And
then Olivia's like, huh? What? Like, this is not your birthday? She was like, oh, you knew that. Like, no, I didn't, Mom. No, I thought today was your birthday. What did Grace say?
Mama Pope is a savage.
Savage.
We didn't know. I mean, there are lots of ways this character could have exited. Okay. She could have exited with a redemption moment of, oh, I'm turning away from my evil ways and becoming, a top-notch person. No. She could have said, oh, I apologize for, all these ills, Olivia, and I let's start over. Let's be friends. No, LBJ. She went out, just like Grace said, as the savage that she is, by even reminding Olivia, listen, girl, you don't know me, but I know you. That's basically what she said.
Because you can't play a player.
You can't play a player.
You can't play a player. Oh, y'all. Let me tell you, the monologues that she had tonight were amazing. And one of the things I want to bring up tonight that she said when you were like, she talked about the kind of woman she raised. She said, Olivia, the woman that you're displaying that you are is not the one I raised, but this one is disappointing. She's despicable and despondent. Like, she gave her some terrible adjectives to describe how Olivia was. And it was very interesting that and how Olivia said goodbye to her. She utilized those same adjectives right back on her mother to kind of close out her work. Talk about that moment, Jenna. How did we get to this curtain call for Mama Pope tonight?
Yes. So LBJ, what as part of the taunting, and the condescending, tone and language, Mama Pope is basically throughout this whole exchange challenging Olivia to let her go. And at the end of all of it, guess what? That's exactly what Olivia does. And she does it by saying, listen, I'm not going to play this game with you anymore. I'm not going to play this mother-daughter game. She basically acknowledges that they're biologically related, but they're not going to have anything more than that. She says, I'm not going to keep playing this game with you. And then she says the thing that Olivia Pope, and this is where the growth has come in, okay, LBJ, because she said the thing that Olivia Pope would never say genuinely. She said to her mom, she said, "You won." And she set her mother free, LBJ. She gave her mother exactly what she wanted, gave her mother a fancy coat, gave her mother a Swiss bank account full of money, and gave her a one-way ticket to Paris. And LBJ, at the end of the phone call, we see, again, Mama Pope, that woman, that Candy Alexander played that part to the very last second.
I feel like she was crestfallen.
LBJ, thank you for that SAT word, because she was, LBJ. She was crestfallen, LBJ. And you're right. In that moment, I just thought, oh my gosh, this is the end of their relationship. But it didn't hit me that this is the end of us seeing her in the show.
Yes.
And Dan Blakemore is agreeing with you. He's saying y'all are probably right about Mama Pope, but I really wanted the curtain to fall on the entire Pope family at the end. You know what, Dan Blakemore? I was kind of thinking the same thing.
And thanks for getting with our analogy, Dan. I love it. Like, this is why you're here, Dan. You're here.
The original Scandal Recap family member. So LBJ, that's
Wakanda.
So LBJ, did you get the Scandal Jam session for tonight? Because that's the storyline.
So I was typing on Twitter and it was like,
can someone please tell me what that song was? Someone must know.
I'm trying to tweet. My heart is racing. I think I need a nebulizer and an inhaler or whatever other breathing treatments out there. My heart, like those commercial breaks, literally made me go. I literally started to exhale. Commercial break.
LBJ, wait. There is some, oh my God, the people in the chat are so deep right now.
Come on, Chaka Khan. I'm ready for the Chaka Khan.
First of all, Dan Blakemore said nobody, in all caps, would have believed a redemption story from Mama Pope. She had to go out as authentically as she came into our lives. Thank you for that, Dan Blakemore.
Chaka Khan.
As we are watching Olivia in pursuit of her authentic self, guess who already knows who they are? Oh, it's Mama Pope, and she a gangsta. Okay, and also Lacey Rideout, LBJ, just got real deep, because if you were here right now, Lacey Rideout, I would just be like, take the mic, because you know what?
That was real Issa Rae what you just did, like that whole pose and that whole eye. That whole look, that was Issa Rae there.
LBJ, or is it
Janiyah? She'd be perfect.
Or is it Issa Rae being Janiyah? Anyway, we don't have to get into all that.
Awkward black young woman before awkward black girl. I'm just saying.
I've been awkward my whole life. That's all we got to say. I'm extremely awkward. Ask anybody who's ever met me. You're experiencing it right now. I'm incredibly awkward.
Come out of the awkward place. Come out of the awkward place.
So Lacey Rideout said, and wait for it, LBJ. And I want everyone right now to just really be listening and really just get ready to get your life changed by Iyanla, who is here as Lacey Rideout.
Okay, I'm ready.
She said, Olivia is winning.
3 words. These 3 words.
Olivia is winning. LBJ, Olivia is winning, because you know what? In her relinquishing the power and saying to her mother, you won. You're right, Lacey Rideout. Olivia is winning. Thank you for that. It's so good. And LBJ, thank you, chat. We now know what the song was.
Oh, yes, that good damn Blakemore. Come on, LBJ. Yes.
Planes and Boats and Trains by Dionne Warwick. It was so perfect, because it was just
trains and planes. I don't know how the song was going.
Well, you got the gist. The point is, she was humming, okay, right when we needed a hum.
Can I talk about just a moment how Dionne Warwick sings? Dionne Warwick sang as if she really was a chain smoker and still is a chain smoker. And she knew how to sing just up under the pitch of her voice and the volume of her voice, where it would be exposed that she was a regular smoker. So she sang like this, like grandma in the kitchen. Like grandma was in the kitchen just humming and cleaning greens. And she was humming. But it wasn't just for the whole house to hear. But it was just for grandma. And then she put it to a jazz beat. Like, that's how Dionne Warwick sings. Like, she be like, friends can be, and it got deeper and deeper. Friends can be lovers, lovers can be friends. I pretend. That's from the Second Friends commercial. That's one of the songs there. If y'all know that, I just took y'all back on like a whole 80s like Time Life music CD saga tribute in like 40 seconds.
LBJ, it's so good. It's so good
Stop
because
typing the lyrics because I'm gonna start singing the trains and boats and planes and passing. Man, I can't
LBJ, we need to read them with reverence.
We do. I'm sorry.
Trains and boats and planes are passing by. They mean a trip to Paris or Rome for someone else, but not for me. The trains and boats and planes took you away from me. Oh, LBJ, that's it. That's it. We're done here, LBJ. This is the chat. The chat has closed this out. Do you have any predictions, LBJ, or takeaways? We haven't done takeaways in a while.
So my prediction is that Mama's done. Like, we're not gonna see her anymore.
That's a good
I
one.
also predict that we are going to see it's going to end up being a war between Olivia and Cyrus, and a part of me had kind of a premonition, if you will, to the last episode of Scandal, only because tonight, when Olivia gave her white coat to one of her fancy coats, one of them fancy coats she'd be wearing, as her mother stated, she had one of the fancy coats she'd be wearing, and she turned around, she had the same, she had like a longer version of Olivia's current weave wig thing going on, and she looked like Olivia from behind, and I was like, gosh, like mother, like daughter. Remember, Maya was in oblivion. Maya went away. We didn't know where Maya went because Maya really had it rough and tough because of the life that she lived with her husband and secretly away from her husband, but being a spy. And a part of me feels, seeing that and looking at the graphic for the season, like the title slide graphic for the 7th and final season of Scandal, are we going to see an Olivia Pope by herself? Ooh. Are we going to see her sitting on that bench as if Armageddon has come and she's the only one left in the world because she's now standing in the sun together by herself? So that's where my mind was. So as you all went deep, I hope you put your scuba gear on, because I just went deep too.
You really did, LBJ. You went Dionne Warwick deep right there.
I went Dionne Warwick deep. Oh, I smoke a pack of cigarette. Like, when she was Celebrity Apprentice, she was talking like this. That Nene Leak, she ain't nothing but a hussy. She kept calling Nene a hussy. It was so funny. Yeah, okay. Anyway, so that's my takeaway /
That's so good.
My prediction. My only takeaway was that I think that we really need to cherish the tradition of helping, sharing, and encouraging one another, especially within our culture. That's my takeaway.
Oh, LBJ. And I have to say, Dan Blakemore has now enlightened us to a duet between Dionne Warwick and Luther Vandross.
Oh, that's actually like the Grammy something. I know this duet that he's talking about.
How many times can we say goodbye?
Y'all gonna make me do like a Time Life.
Oh my God.
Just so we can act silly.
We need to, LBJ, because we don't know what we're going to do after this chat is over. I mean, I think after a Scandal goes off. But LBJ, here's what I am worried about.
Are you just like Omarosa? Like, Omarosa, should we be worried? Yeah, should be very worried.
Let's be careful not to ever compare, me to Omarosa. But just want to be. Nope. But let's just be careful with that one. But LBJ. This is a prediction, and this is what I am worried about. I am worried that at the end of this show, it will all just go on. That these particular characters will not participate in the shenanigans in the same way, but that command will still exist, that corruption will still exist in the White House, and that the conclusion of the show will just be the characters walking away from it. Not it itself changing in any way. Now, the only light for me in this is that we still don't know what's going to happen with the Supreme Court case. We don't know what's going to happen. One thing we do know, LBJ, is at the end of How to Get Away with Murder last week, Olivia and Annalise, they said goodbye. They gave each other a hug and they walked away from each other. And so I don't think we're going to see these characters hanging out, shooting the breeze back at the hair salon in Southeast DC. But LBJ, we know that is still an open question. Will that be the redemption for the Republic in this show before it ends? If not, LBJ, that's going to be sad. because then the white hat is just no one has it, you know. So anyway, that's my thought, LBJ. And I wish we could play the Dionne Warwick and Luther Vandross song right now while I was making that somber note that I just made.
But can I say how the chat is going off now about how Mama Pope is not a mother? She ain't never been a mother. Having a child don't make you no mother. Like, y'all are going off. Dan Blakemore was like, you better preach. Dan Blakemore gave Diane Jones a Chaka Khan because they are going off in here crazy. Yes, Diane. They need to give Diane Jones an offering tonight. Let me tell you, these people are going off about being a mama. Mama Pope is not a mother. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. Oh my goodness.
LBJ, did you see what?
Wait, Macy Rado said, LBJ, I don't receive that prediction. In fact, I rebuke it.
LBJ, tonight when we logged on, something happened.
Something shifted in the atmosphere
that I have never seen before. There was something that popped up on the YouTube Hangout. And it said that the chat that goes on during the show would be preserved with the YouTube video, and it popped.
Oh, really?
It popped. I swear, it popped up and it disappeared. And I think it's going to happen though. So let's see.
Oh,
I know. I save them anyway, but let's see.
Okay, I'm there. Yeah,
that's it.
Still said Janiyah will need a new hair weave. Yes.
Oh my gosh, LBJ, my coworkers are they're befuddled. They don't know what's happening. They're like, what?
You that? Oh my God! Like, can I touch it?
I know, and I'll just tell them the truth. Yeah, I learned on YouTube.
LBJ, Jackie O said she saw it pop up too. Kat Harlan said, I saw it too, Janiyah.
Okay, yay! Okay, so there's that. So
Jackie O also said Janiyah may be a queen hater, but she's definitely no Okun Rosa. Oh, another Okun Rosa.
Thank you. But listen, hashtag facts are facts. But anyway, LBJ, there's one other thing we have to talk about before we get off, which is that LBJ's son had his first birthday. Oh my gosh. If you guys follow Larry on social media, you've got a chance to see this celebration. But it has just been so beautiful to watch Larry and Candace celebrate their little one.
Oh, thank you
LBJ, shout out to Grace and Ramonte Janiyah.
Yeah, he loves you. He has a photo here for you. Listen, we had Uno favors for him. So you can take a picture of Grayson.
Oh my gosh.
Uno favors that we did for him. Yes, we did. You heard me eating a cookie early. That's because we do cookie favors at our party. So this was the cookie favor for Grayson. Yeah, thanks for coming.
Oh my gosh. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. This was so much fun as usual. LBJ, I don't know what we're going to do when Scandal goes off.
It's going to be so sad. I know. Michelle said, OBJ Janiyah, I love you. We love you too.
We love you so much.
So much for hanging out. And thanks to the shout out for Candace's birthday last week on the video for those of you that did that as well. Listen, it's been a year already, Kat Harlan. Yes. Can you believe it? Last Friday.
Oh my
gosh.
Last
year I became a father. Oh my gosh. And then when we were driving home, it finally hit me as a father. I broke down crying. I was like, oh, I can't believe that. Oh yeah, we'll talk about that. Maybe that's the next conversation we'll start having after Scandal.
Oh, I like it. I mean, I won't be involved, but that sounds really interesting.
Whatever. I think we've actually hit an hour on the dot. Thank you all so much for joining it tonight. We love you so much. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.